Well, we've made it to June here at Cord Cutting Today. In fact, today is Friday, June 5th, 2020. And that means we're inching ever closer to the halfway point of 2020, which is kind of amazing when you think about it. Nevertheless, we've got some streaming and cord cutting news to talk about today. In this week's headlines, Roku adds more free content to its Roku channel platform. HBO Max's launch foibles include some erroneous charges. Quibi looks to cut some costs, and AMC Theaters remains concerned about its near-term future. Before all that, though, did you know each week a surprising amount of our views for Cord Cutting Today actually come from folks who haven't subscribed to our channel yet? If you're one of those folks and you like what we're doing here, please do consider clicking the like and subscribe buttons. They help us out a ton on this channel and enable us to bring you more content in the future. And also, don't forget to check out our news website, cordcuttersnews.com, for all the latest cord cutting and streaming news. And you'll find links to all of the stories we'll talk about today down below in the video description. Having said all that, I think we should talk about some news now. First up, it's Roku, and yeah, we're still waiting on a deal to get HBO Max on the platform, but in the meantime, there's other news to talk about. The company announced it's expanding its free live linear channel lineup on the Roku channel starting this week. The expansion means the Roku channel now offers more than 100 channels to choose from, and to help with that, they're also adding a live TV channel guide. Now, while the channel should already be available this week, Roku says the live guide feature will be rolling out over the next few weeks, so don't be alarmed just yet if you're not seeing that guide feature on your device. When you do receive the guide, you'll be able to access it at any point by pressing the left button on your Roku remote. As for the new channels, they span a mix of topics and genres, including news, sports, and kids and family. And if you do end up checking out the new content offerings, let us know what you think in the comments below. Speaking of HBO Max, it looks like a few customers ended up getting billed a bit more than they were expecting recently. On Friday, Jess wrote about DirecTV Now customers who were moved on over to AT&T TV Now when that service launched. Well, those grandfathered plans included some promotional pricing that offered HBO access for $5 per month. Fast forward to last week and the launch of HBO Max, and some subscribers complained they were suddenly being charged $15 per month for HBO Max. And that's despite the fact that the streaming service has been pitched as being available to current HBO subscribers at no additional charge. Well, since then, AT&T has responded to say, whoops, it was a billing mistake, and they'll be issuing credits to offset those extra charges. The company says those credits will continue until it fixes the error, which could take a few billing cycles. So if you're on one of those grandfathered plans, it might be worth keeping a closer eye on your monthly bill for the time being to make sure you're getting charged and or credited appropriately. Next up, we actually have some live sports news for once. In recent weeks, various sports leagues have been hammering out details on how they can safely and responsibly return to competitive play in the near future. And Jess has a roundup today about some of the latest developments on that front. With the NBA, we've seen the league's Board of Governors approve a 22-team format that would resume league play in late July at the Disney campus outside Orlando. The idea here is for each team to play 8 games to determine playoff seeding, and then having Eastern and Western Conference playoff matchups right after that. The NBA Players Association is also set to vote on the proposal, but at the time of this recording, that vote hasn't taken place yet. If news breaks on that front, we'll keep you updated. Elsewhere, NASCAR has announced the latest additions to its revamped 2020 schedule, and that includes 23 races spanning from the end of June this month out to August 2nd. And as for you sports fans out there, are you looking forward to seeing live competitions again? What do you think of the new formats and proposed changes? As always, let us know in the comments below. In other streaming news, it looks like Quibi is making some moves to help shore up what's being viewed as lackluster performance so far. We've got a post this week about how some advertisers are looking to revise their deals with the streaming platform given lower than expected viewer totals. Big names like Pepsi, Taco Bell, and Walmart have all signed on as advertisers, and they're now looking to revise the terms of their respective deals. Elsewhere, the company announced its senior leadership will all be taking a 10% pay reduction to help cut costs. In a memo, founder Jeffrey Katzenberg and CEO Meg Whitman said they are indeed trying to tighten the company's belt, but added they have not laid off staff to cut costs. In fact, they point out they've recently added about a dozen new employees. Still, that's not an encouraging position to be in, and while Quibi is certainly not officially dead in the water, so to speak, it's clear the company has some work ahead of it to reach the goals it set out for itself. Recent additions of AirPlay support are a good step in that direction, but we'll keep an eye on the company to see how it grows and evolves moving forward. Of course, Quibi is by no means the only entertainment company faced with some financial challenges right now. The threat of bankruptcy continues to loom over AMC Theaters as the ongoing coronavirus pandemic affects its nearly 1,000 locations worldwide. Now, there are glimmers of financial hope if they can safely reopen theaters later in the summer, especially as potential blockbusters are released, but a lot still remains unclear. After all, even if a significant number of its theaters are clear to reopen, it's hard to predict how willing or, unwilling customers are to get back into theaters. In the meantime, I know we've talked about this before, but what about you at home? Are you looking forward to heading back to the theater anytime soon? Have you taken advantage of some of the new releases that have come straight to streaming services and are available for rent? Let us know if your movie viewing habits have changed over the recent months. As for at-home viewing, earlier this week we took a look at some of the leading live TV streaming services and the different types of cloud DVR services they offer. Some bundle surprisingly robust DVR features at no added cost, while others offer more bare-bones options by default and try to pitch a more generous set of features as part of an upgrade package. So we thought we'd compare prices, features, availability, and limitations for 6 of the top live TV streaming services out there right now. And you can check that roundup out in a couple of ways now. There's an article, which you can find, of course, on our news website, cordcuttersnews.com, and there's a link to that story down below in the video description. Or if you're in the mood for some more video content, we've published a video version of that roundup, which you can also find linked down below in the description. And you should also find it linked in the card that you'll see at the end of today's Cord Cutting Today. And as a quick note, while we think this guide to cloud DVRs can come in handy, especially if you're new to live TV streaming services and are shopping around, there's still plenty more to explore on the topic, so stay tuned as we hope to get more in depth with the various DVRs on offer and explore unique user interfaces, tips and tricks, and more in the future. On the rumor front, we've got what could be our first real look at Google's Next HDMI Dongle. These new marketing materials line up with earlier rumors of an Android TV-powered device that could replace or complement the existing Chromecast Ultra in Google's streaming hardware lineup. From the materials, you can see a slightly oval shape compared to the Ultra's more rounded design. And what's also interesting is the possible inclusion of a small remote control with a circular directional pad up top. Those new images also appear to depict updates to the Android TV user interface, including a new top row with sections for movies, TV, live content, and more. On top of all that, there are rumors these updates and new hardware announcements could be tied to a possible rebranding of Android TV itself. Unlike previous years, though, Google does not have the luxury of its I/O conference this year to announce any new hardware or software, so it remains to be seen exactly how and when the company will share its latest updates. But you can stay tuned to our website, cordcuttersnews.com, for all the latest. Moving on, we have a story about, moving on. Warren Schlichting is reportedly leaving his role as group president of Sling TV, with Michael Schwimmer stepping in to take his place. This move comes as Sling TV has suffered a number of subscriber losses in recent months. After its debut in 2015, the service has seen solid growth up until about late last year, when it started reported losses in subscribers, and that downward trend has continued into this year, with subscriber numbers down 4.7% in the quarter that ended in March. Now, the move comes as parent company Dish works to transform itself into a wireless service provider via a 5G broadband network. As for Sling's recent losses, a good part of that likely stems from just increased competition in the streaming entertainment space, which leads me to ask, if you're a Sling TV user that's jump shipped and moved on to another service, what caused you to move? Was it better service, better channel packages, better DVR, something else entirely? Of course, let us know in the comments below. Last and definitely not least, we have a programming note for you. On Saturday, June 6th, CNN and Sesame Street are teaming up for a virtual town hall they're calling Coming Together, Standing Up to Racism. It's a 60-minute special that you can watch starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. And you'll be able to tune in via CNN, CNN International, and CNN Espanol, as well as CNN.com and its mobile apps. Again, that's 10 a.m. Eastern, Saturday, June 6th. And that wraps up another week here at Cord Cutting Today. Obviously, a whole lot going on right now, well beyond the world of streaming and cord cutting. And if you're really interested in making a difference in really whatever cause it is you believe in, I'd suggest donating your time, money, and support however you can. There are a lot of great causes out there that need all the help they can get. And as for the streaming and cord cutting world, please do feel free to click the like and subscribe buttons down below to help support our channel here and enable us to bring you even more content in the future. And as previously mentioned, we do have a news website, cordcuttersnews.com, for all the latest streaming and cord cutting news. For now, though, I hope you have a safe and enjoyable weekend. My name, as always, is Philip Palermo. Thanks for watching. Please take care.